Hi guys, Andre074871 here to do another review. This is another lightsaber review, and as I mentioned in my Kylo Ren Legacy lightsaber review, I'm doing this. This is a Savi's hand-built lightsaber from Savi's workshop at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This is part of a whole experience that I sadly have not yet experienced because I live in the middle of the country, not anywhere near California or Florida, so hasn't really been feasible for me to make my way to the park yet. I got this off of eBay. If I'd have known about the Discord, I would have rather have gone through them because they're a lot better and would have not charged me a lot more than the eBay seller did. But all in all, I am still very pleased with it. Right? This is the chassis. This is what you start with at Savi's workshop. Right here is the battery pack. You can see it has this black sleeve around it to protect the batteries, held in place by this small screw. These take 3 AAA batteries. I don't know if it should have done that, but oh well. You push it in, twist to lock it into place. Your second step is to pick your Kyber crystal. Now, the one I originally got with it was this one, purple. There are 4 colors that you can choose from within the experience: red, blue, green, and purple. I went with purple because I don't have very many lightsabers with a purple blade, and I wanted something that wasn't dark side or just a standard blue or green. I wanted something a little bit different. And I'm actually getting ahead of myself. The first thing you do whenever you go to Savi's workshop is you purchase the pin. This is what tells the builders what set you're getting. This is for the elemental nature set. And the sort of stylized design in the center there is based off of Gunji's lightsaber from Star Wars Clone Wars. He was a Wookiee Padawan who had a very elemental designed lightsaber. It had wood and it was a really neat lightsaber. Now, as I said, the ones that you can pick in the experience are red, blue, green, and purple. You can also pick up white and yellow from Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. There is a slim chance that if you buy a red Kyber crystal from Doc Ondar's, that you might get an obsidian crystal. The chance is very slight, especially since they started putting black paper in these capsules. They put them specifically in the red one because people would be taking their phone flashlight and shining it through to see if the crystal was red or black. They decided that wasn't in the spirit of things, so they put in the black paper to keep people from doing that. You pick your crystal. We're going to start with the purple and work our way towards the one I like the most as of right now, or at least the one I like the most for this particular build. Take the crystal and you place it into this chamber until you can spin it in place. You'll see that the crystal itself lights up and you have these blinking lights. That is one of the downsides. Not that it does this. This is really cool. But because it does that, as long as there is a crystal in this chassis, it is slightly draining power. It drains even more power if you leave your blade in. So the best way to display this just as a display piece would be to remove your battery and put it all back together. That's not what we're here for, is it? As I said, I went with elemental nature. So what we're looking at is a lot of ancient looking parts with some faux wood, or in this particular case, leather, that basically put yourself in touch with nature. We're going to start with the switch. At the experience, I think they actually encourage you to put the hilt sleeves on first, but we're going to start with the switch first. Now, the way that you can tell which piece goes on which side of this is by these indicators right here, matching them up with, there it is, that piece and that piece right there. You can also tell by just looking at the way the switch is designed and the way the chassis is designed. Snap on like so. Now at this point you can flip the switch and you will get a sound. This does tell you that you've got the switch installed correctly and that it is receiving power. Now we're going to put our hilt sleeves on. First we're going to go with the bottom grip because this is the one I have very few problems with. One slight downside that I'm going to get into is that all of these pieces don't always align perfectly. For the initial purposes of this, I am not going to worry about that as yet, but what you can do is I found this washer and I was able to basically make it align better. But for the at least the first two crystals we're going to go through, we're just going to go for the basics here. Just have it all put on there, and we'll do a full hilt review after the electronics. You get a 31-inch blade with the build of the lightsaber. Push it in, twist, and it locks in. And there's purple. This is a very vibrant purple. Has a kind of yellow greenish flash on clash. And from what I can tell, this is actually a very similar sound to the blue, except for how it turns on. The purple has a much deeper, bassier ignition sound. And for ease of myself, I'm going to take the blade off while I get the next crystal installed. And for the time being, I'm going to remove the emitter and the top sleeve, just to make things a little bit simpler until I put in the crystal that is my favorite. As I said, purple crystal I got first. The next one I got was the yellow, but that's not my absolute favorite. So we're going to go ahead and put in the white crystal. And real quick, you can tell that they do look a little different. The purple and yellow have the exact same mold. They're the exact same cut, if you will. But the white one is actually a bit of a rougher cut, and I really like that. So let's put the white in. The crystal on this one lights up really well. Put our switch back on. And putting in the blade. And there's white. It does look a little blue on camera, but this is very much white. This one also has a yellow flash on flash. And I love the sounds this thing makes. Has a very interesting electric-like hum. Uh, One thing I will note while I've got this one in is the motion is a little delayed. Take the blade out, and we shall put this thing back together completely for the yellow crystal. For me, it's the one that I have that fits the most. Looking at it, I think purple was not the ideal choice. Just looking at, just from the design I made, I think the best colors for this particular lightsaber, especially the elemental nature, would be green, yellow, and white. White looks good with just about most of them, near as I can tell. The purple I should have saved for a later build for protection and defense, the more Old Republic style. I think that looks really cool on those. Now, as I said, I have a little bit of trouble. I should probably put the switch back in and put in the crystal first before I try and put a sleeve on. Because the sleeves will just hang there uselessly if the switch isn't on there. You can see the yellow crystal, the yellow blinking light in the chassis. Tighten the grip. Put my washer on. At least get it started. Make sure my pommel is lined up the way I like it. Line up my emitter. And now I will show the lightsaber in full. As you can see, I went with the angled emitter, which goes into these sections here with the leather rear grip and the Rancor tooth pommel. This was the thing that drew me most to this particular build because of the old expanded universe character 10L Ka, who created a Rancor tooth lightsaber. I always thought that was really cool. So the fact that I was able to basically have my own Rancor tooth lightsaber is just super cool to me. Uh, Now, these pieces right here are metal. The main part of the pommel is metal, but the Rancor tooth is a hollow plastic. You can see the cuts in it to allow sound to come out. The leather grip and all these wood pieces are a kind of rubberized material. Now, originally, these were painted black. That got scratched off, and at first I was really irked by that because I paid a lot of money for this thing, and holy cow, the paint's coming off. But as it wore off, I realized that these were pretty much the same color as these were pretty much the same metal as this, and now it just kind of looks a little weathered. And I think that's actually a really cool look. I really like how this feels in the hands. A lot of people think that these are a little bulky, but for me, for some reason, it does not feel that way. I've held lightsabers that were about as bulky as this, if not a bit more so, like the old Force FX Mace Windu was a very bulky lightsaber, but for some reason this feels really comfortable. Let's go ahead and put the blade in, and here's yellow. I absolutely love the way the yellow looks. I love the way it sounds. That is such a cool sound. This one has kind of a bluish white, maybe purplish flash on flash. I'm a little colorblind, so I'm not entirely sure. That makes sense. You can't make yellow flash yellow. Another thing I really like is this one has a very quick power off compared to the other ones. The best way I found to hold it is like this. Gives most of my purchase on the rubberized pieces, so it's very comfortable. I absolutely love this saber. I think I would love the experience, and I hope to be able to do that one day. And if I do, I will do another review of whatever saber I build. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope that you get, if you're interested, you get to go to Galaxy's Edge and build your own. And may the Force be with you.